Good morning.
Can you talk a little bit about C.D. Lamb and just how he's feeling and where he is as far as being able to do something today?
I mean, he's getting better. I'm not of high concern. We have the mock game today, so he'll be a part of that. And I anticipate he'll practice tomorrow. That's the plan.
How did Dak handle full practice yesterday and team?
Good, and just let the quarterback meetings feels good, so he'll do everything today.
What did you guys like about Surtain coming into the draft?
Well, I mean, what wasn't there to like? I mean, let's be honest. I thought he was very mature. He had the length. Definitely had twitch, ball skills. So, came from a really good program. Obviously, you look at the makeup. So, I mean, I think he's off to a great start.
When you looked at him so far, the start to his rookie season, is it what you thought he would be?
Yeah, definitely. I think we spoke on that yesterday. The evaluation was correct, and he's off to an excellent career.
Beyond what Parsons has done just with his performance, which is always what you're looking for, have you found when young players play at that level, there's an exuberance or an attitude that kind of can infect a team and help push it along from a mood standpoint?
Definitely, but I think the biggest thing is production, and I think that's the one thing with Micah from day one. I mean, it didn't take very long to recognize his ability and just the way he fits and frankly the targeting issues he creates for the offense. I mean, the ability to play off the line at the traditional Mike and Will linebacker position, but also be a open end or a Sam outside linebacker. So, and he obviously has the characteristic and traits to play all those positions at a high level.
Dak said yesterday that on his first throw on Wednesday, I guess scrambled, kind of threw on the run a little bit, and he noticed that I probably should have done that on the first throw. Is there anything that you guys have to do in the game plan to guard against anything with his calf, or is that not even possible?
Well, we're not there. I think that's why you really trust the return to play process, and that was part of the thinking last week. And Britt's been doing this a long time, and to release him into practice full go, puts us in that mindset. Now, if we were thinking differently, the way we would have practiced and the way we would have lined up would have been reflecting how the practice and the game would be called.
I can't recall us asking you many questions about Justin Hamilton, but he seemed to have a really nice game against Minnesota. Just what do you think of what he's done with the opportunity?
I think he's done a great job. I mean, if you go back to training camp, I mean, he had a heck of a training camp. He just had an injury early this year to kind of work through, but time on the practice squad. But I think both times that he's had a chance to come up and he's performed as a practice squad exempt, and I'm excited to see him get this full-time opportunity. But I think coming off of last year, the transition that we were making when we changed the defense, he was clearly a good fit for us last year. So this is something he's been building off since then.
Is Leon back in the building? Is he able to do anything with you guys?
Leon was back at practice yesterday, but no, he hasn't. He's not back in the building yet.
As a work, how are your tackles looking, Lyle and Steele?
They look good. I thought they had 2 good days of work, so far so good. But the transition's been smooth.
Does that surprise you with that transition, or is that just how it goes sometimes, especially with Steele?
No, I wouldn't say it's surprising. Obviously, LC's comfortable, and Terrence is doing a really good job, and nothing surprises me with him. I mean, just think about his path here and what he's done, and just in a short time he's been here. So, obviously a young man of very high character and work ethic, and he accepts and goes after every challenge. So, no, I thought both days, particularly the padded work yesterday, was good.
On that note of going after challenges, some of the guys were joking like, yeah, it's great that Vaughn isn't going to be playing this week. When Terrence was asked, he said, I wanted to play against him. He's a legend. What does that illustrate about?
Well, I think it shows you, really how these guys are wired. They want the best. To be the best, you got to beat the best. So, I think that, those are challenges you look forward to. You obviously have great respect for all players in this league, especially ones like Von Miller that played at such a high level. So, I think it speaks to the character, and they want the opportunity for that challenge.
an undrafted rookie coming in and doing what Steele has done is unusual. But is it even more so in the offensive line, just physically? I mean, you rarely see undrafted rookies jump up this quickly at that position.
Definitely, I think it's an excellent point. And the fact of the matter is because of the development that goes into it. And it's let's be real here. It's not easy to develop offensive linemen, particularly in this current climate of CBA offseason program restrictions. So it's definitely not set up for the linemen. So I think the fact that what he's been able to accomplish, just in a short time, once again speaks to him as the man and the work ethic and, the way he attacks his profession.
When it comes to like the rookie wall and things like that, with Micah, are you any more mindful of it? Because a year ago, he wasn't playing football.
No, good point. I think that, Micah not playing last year and really all the rookies, I think those are things I know I am. You're cognizant of, when you're going through your planning purposes. We have young guy meetings that are really tailored to really try to take away some of that anxiety of, make sure they're able to keep up with the switching of game plans and things like that. So you're always mindful of where they are. And I think sometimes burnout means is, they're not used to playing in such a long season. The reality of it is, it's I don't think it's the length of it. It's the intensity, and the fact that the urgency has to be there every week. So, and that's what we're very mindful of. And in Micah's particular, instance, him and Dan have a regular one-on-one meeting. So there's things you try to really focus on and make sure the young guys are getting a little extra that they need.
For some of the other guys that aren't in the guys that are in your Thursday and their practice young guys session, what's the benefit of that for them? Just extra practice work and doing Cowboys versus Cowboy stuff, or is it Cowboys versus opposing teams?
Well, it's really the game plan of that week. It's making sure they're focused on being ready for the game the game plan. It's no different than what the starters are going through. On Wednesday, there you go. Roger Staubach. So, but man, I'm shook. Just thinking about the old Super Bowl, Steelers and the Cowboys. But no, what the hell were we talking about?
For rookies, you're into Thursday practice.
Yeah, Thursday's practice. Well, we do the competitive periods with the with the ones on Wednesday and Thursday, and it's really the same thing. We're trying to run. We're going to run against the Broncos, and defense is doing the same thing. So you got potential for bad looks, and I think that's important because when you get into an offensive call that maybe not great versus a certain defensive call, the instincts and awareness that you have to kick in and recognize that you may be running a route versus tough leverage, or you may be in a protection that's not really good versus their pressure. So you're also tapping into not just putting them in ideal situations so they can run plays. It's scripted, but it's not it's not carded. Where one guy's getting a favorable look versus another. So, and I think that's all part of trying to make give them live reps, but give them reps that they can. They get them ready to play in the game that week. So, so those calls come right off the game plan.
Do you have young guy meetings in addition to that work outside of practice?
Correct, yeah, 7 a.m. We have young guy meetings Thursday, Friday, Saturday for the younger players, offensive, defense, and special teams. Just alternated.
And that's different than rookie meetings. Are the rookies part of that? Obviously they're young guys.
Well, it's the definition of a young guy. It's all rookies and any young player that really wants to or we feel needs to be part of it. But all the rookies are in there.
Yeah, of course.
Young players would rather meet in the afternoon than 7 a.m. though, wouldn't they?
I don't know. That's a good question for you to ask him.
Terrence was talking about Tyron giving him points yesterday in practice. We talk so much about what Tyron can do physically and how athletically gifted he is, but what do we not see about how cerebral he is and how he understands the game?
Well, the experience part of it. And I think that's exactly what Terrence is telling you. It's all the little things. It's the cadence, reminders. It's the pre-snap looks. That's the stance. Just maybe have some history. When particular guys, I know when you play in this league a long time, most players keep a book on opposing players and those types of things. So it's always the little things in those type of conversations.
With you just saw Roger. How much interaction have you been able to have with former Cowboys your first couple of years, and how important is it to make sure that those guys feel welcome? Did you have that same kind of instance up in Green Bay?
I mean, definitely had it up in Green Bay. I'm really with the pandemic, haven't had really much. So, hopefully it'll change here, moving forward. But yeah, definitely. I mean, it's such a huge part of the history. And I mean, obviously those guys are always welcomed here. I mean, it's great to have former players around. Definitely embrace that.